So I heard someone out there say they wanted a season 2. So I guess I kinda gotta do it now, right? So welcome back to Classic Cartoon Clash. I am the Doctor, and I will be officiating the upcoming lightweight battle. So like always, grab a drink, grab a snack, sit back and enjoy. Now let's get ready to clash. We going head to head, get ready to clash. We going head to head, get ready to clash. We going head to head, get ready to clash. We going head to head, get ready to clash. Hey, before we even get started, do me a favor. Let me know in the comments who you're rolling with. Team Blue or Team Red? Now, let's get to it. And we are officially back with season 2, man. Hope you guys are ready, because this is your classic story on why you should never give up on your dreams. Undergrads was created by a man named Pete Williams. The writer/voice actor was born on September 1st, 1978. Unlike most kids, he discovered his passion at a young age, and that passion was art. He'd often doodle, draw characters, and other sketches. He knew for a fact he wanted to grow up and make cartoons for a living. His parents couldn't help but notice his desire to create and decided to nourish the young child's dream. At the tender age of 10 years old, Pete would receive a gift that would change his life forever. His mother and father purchased an annual subscription to Animation Magazine, a printed publication that covered news within the animation industry as well as new visual effects. Pete was in love with it. The magazine would frequently advertise contests from various animation studios, and people all across North America could enter with no age restrictions. Pete entered several of these competitions, but unfortunately he would never win a single one, probably due to the fact that his competitors were grown adults who had already made their mark in the industry. Fast forward some years down the road to when MTV held a character screening contest. Beavis and Butthead had ran their course, and they were looking for new characters to replace them. The winner would receive a generous $5,000 and an opportunity for a development deal to turn the contest entry into a full-length show on the network. Not letting previous failures deter him, Pete decided to enter. He quickly drew sketches of himself and his 3 friends, imitated their voices, and titled the submission, The Click.
I have 3 best friends, Rocco, Gimpy, and Cal, all with whom I have nothing in common, but apparently we all did so much time in high school together that now we're inseparable.
3 months later, he received a message from Abby Turcouli, the president of MTV. He was notified that he had won the contest, and he was overjoyed. Out of tens of thousands of entrants, his was the best of them all. Well, he later found out that only 15 people entered the contest, and of those 15, he was the only entrant that followed all of the rules, so he kinda won by default, but hey, a win is a win, goddammit. After MTV deemed the show wasn't quite ready for the big leagues, they sent him back to the drawing board. The show would go through rough draft after rough draft and be shown to focus groups over and over. MTV simply wasn't satisfied with the quality being presented to them. Over time, Pete's animation skills would grow, and eventually he produced a draft that left MTV smiling uncontrollably.
Hello?
Why aren't you online?
Gimpy, hi. I'm kinda waiting for a call.
Get online, I've got cool stuff. Do it now.
Hey, Gimpy. Hose thongs.
The network felt like they finally had something special, so they took Pete and paired him with a seasoned writer named Josh Kagan. The two hit it off immediately and meshed with each other perfectly. They bounced ideas off each other until they got into a nice little groove. Once the quality was worthy of the airwaves, we ended up with the show we know today as Undergrads. The series debuted April 22nd, 2001 and aired on the MTV network. It ran for 1 season with a total of 13 episodes. The show is loosely based off the life story of its creator, Pete Williams. The storyline follows 4 high school graduates who try to seamlessly transition to college life. There's Rocco, the wild party animal sex addict, Gimpy, the over-the-top Star Wars-obsessed board game-playing computer geek, Cal, the baby-faced ladies' man with a lisp. Then there's Nis. This here is the main character. He's kind of this shy, generic, antisocial kid, but he's determined to fit in more during this new chapter of life. Quick fun fact, Pete Williams does the voices for all 4 main characters. That's crazy. Seriously talented guy, for real. The four childhood friends made a pact to never let their friendship die, even though they would now be attending different schools.
Gentlemen, please raise your glasses. We four shall never meet again, at least until Christmas. To us.
To the quick.
Now we shall watch my Malaysian bootleg DVD of The Empire Strikes Back.
All the issues you'd expect from college kids appear throughout the series. Student loans, identity crises, partying, dorm life, losing your virginity, fraternities, tests, and peer pressure, just to name a few. So, welcome to State U, the university where nobody goes to class. Seriously, throughout the whole season, I think I've seen a classroom like once, maybe? The year kicks off, and before you know it, a whole week has passed by. Nitz meets this cool girl named Jessie. Remember her, as she plays a big role in the series. Within moments of talking to her, he realizes he hasn't done any fun shit during his first week of school. Nitz then bumps into his high school crush, Kimmy Burton. Remember her as well, a very important reoccurring character. She invites him out to a party and he accepts. So now Nitz needs to do a bunch of fun stuff, so he'll have something to talk about at the upcoming party. He needs to find a way to quickly meet new people.
That's how you have college experiences. I have to meet new people. But how?
Join a club! Meet new people! Joining a club is the best way to meet new people!
Oh, I can't think with all this yelling.
Just want to point out, this show is full of these little visual gags that you might miss. F***ing orgy club. That's great. Then the annual Exposed Expo tradition is introduced. Basically, a bunch of students strip butt-ass naked and run amok on the campus. Nitz, being a plain, vanilla, boring guy, gets wind of the event and starts to clown anyone who's willing to take part in it.
What kind of idiot would want to advertise that they're dumb enough to run naked? Sorry.
Jessie tells Nitz she's doing it simply because it's a memory, and college life is all about having fun and making memories. After hearing Kimmy Burton say she'll be at the event, Nitz decides to join as well. Pretty boy Cal says ever so bluntly to Nitz, like, yo, you're fat now, you put on a lot of weight. So Nitz and his buddy Rocco go hard in the gym for a few days until Nitz loses a bunch of weight.
Huh? Ah! All the weight I lost has gone straight to my ass!
Yeah, I told you we hadn't gotten to the glutes yet.
Then in episode 4, we see a shift in the world of Nitz. A common one I'm sure most of us can relate to. That moment in life where you transition from one group of friends to another. It's Nitz's birthday and Jessie invites him out to hang with her group. Nitz turns it down because he assumed his childhood friends would have something planned for his big day. But turns out everyone is busy with their new college lives. So after spending his birthday all alone, Jessie invites him out once again.
Me and the guys would like to take you out tomorrow night.
Great, I don't have any other plans for tomorrow night.
By the end of the episode, he makes up with his friends, but this is still a pivotal moment in the narrative as he begins to split his free time with his newly made friends going forward. Further along in the school year, Nitz is tired of Cal being his roommate. He's starting to feel like he's outgrowing his friends. Me personally, I just think Nitz is kind of hating on his boy. Throughout the season, you'll see women throw themselves at Cal. Real shit, he must have banged dozens of girls on this campus, while Nitz is still struggling to lose his damn virginity. So Nitz runs away and stays in Jessie's room as her roommate has gone home for the weekend. In all honesty, I kinda get it. Could you imagine being a virgin and having to listen to people smashing 24/7?
Oh, homie, that was amazing. I hope the kids didn't hear us. Wow.
And then on top of that, when Cal's alone, he be doing some annoying shit at times.
Hey Cal, you seen my toothbrush?
God, do you think my brows are too bushy? Hey.
So now, Nitz and Jessie are spending so much time together, naturally, he starts to catch feelings for her. And I'm not even mad at that. Personally, I think Jessie is a better fit for him. And Kimmy ain't serious with life, man. She's always leading my boy Nitz on. We even get introduced to the guy she likes, some blonde, eccentric guy named Mark. So yeah, there comes a point in time where Nitz accidentally sees Jessie naked and shit just gets kind of weird between them after that.
Rule 1. You gotta knock, dude. God, I'm late. If I miss another biolab, I'm screwed.
Screwed? Oh.
And as if that wasn't enough, Nitz decides to just make a move on Jesse that night.
I've been meaning to ask you, do you think, well, would you go out with me tonight, then afterwards we can come back here and get into the same bed?
Then it's Christmas break. The kids leave campus, go home, watch Charlie Brown, Home Alone, and The Chipmunks. Then they return at the top of January. After coming back from winter break, nobody seems to remember Nitz. He comes to the conclusion he needs a signature thing that everyone knows him for. In the middle of this identity crisis, Nitz tries out different hairstyles and personalities. He tries to be the swearing guy, the laughing guy, the bully guy, the tattoo guy. But after all fails, he throws a tantrum at the top of his lungs and announces he's going to his room and never coming out.
I give up! There's nothing I can do to get noticed by you people! Fine! All of you can go to hell!
How many times do I have to ask you kids to stop telling me to go to hell?
Now the word gets around and students start to crowd around his room door and they give him the name Room Guy. But like every sensation, that 15 minutes of fame eventually runs out. As we near the end of freshman year, we enter that last week of school also known as Screw Week. The infamous week where a bunch of horny teens try to get laid before going back home for the summer break. Nitz is doing everything in his power to hook up with Kimmy Burton. Jesse comes along and asks if he'd like to pack bags together that night. Nitz suffers from tunnel vision and is solely focused on banging Kimmy. Meanwhile, Jesse is getting annoyed as Nitz is ignoring her obvious attraction to him. The two plan to swing by a party, then come back and pack together. But at the party, Nitz ditches Jesse and ends up consoling Kimmy after they both find out the guy she likes is,
He's gay?
Nitz ends up spending the night and possibly smashed Kimmy too. The audience is never given that information as the scene simply fades to black. Which means Jesse, who was Nitz's date to the party, walked home all alone in the middle of the night. It's pretty f***ed up if you ask me. On her way home the next morning, she shares some angry words with Nitz before driving off.
Shut up! God, I can't believe I let you cry on my shoulder all year about everything. And not once did you ever get the idea that I might have been doing it for a reason.
And that's where freshman year ends. Friends not close as they once were, a love triangle between Nitz, Kimmy, and Jesse, and us not knowing the fate of the clique. Undergrads does an amazing job of giving you the real campus experience through the eyes of the common guy. Nitz isn't popular, he's not good at sports, he doesn't get the women, he's just a wholesome guy trying to find his purpose in the world, a place most of us can relate to. The animation is top tier, and the atmosphere is perfectly set with background music from popular rock bands. Unfortunately, the show would have a short-lived run. It was pulled from the network before all 13 episodes could even air. The fate of Undergrads was solely in the hands of the network, and sadly, they didn't handle it delicately. Pete Williams had no control over when the show would be aired or how it was promoted. The genius marketing team at MTV took it upon themselves to air the premiere of Undergrads on the same night as a little unpopular show you might have heard of. Get this, you ready? They decided to premiere the show on Sunday night at the same time as the show would slowly fizzle out. By the time it got to episode 6, it would air on random days in the week at random times when nobody was watching. Luckily, the Canadian network named Teletoon saw the untapped potential and decided to air it nightly. Reruns were shown on the channel for close to a decade, and it built up a huge cult following. All has been quiet since then, except for a crowd-funded Undergrads movie that is currently in the works. I personally donated to the Kickstarter because shit, man, I want to know what's happening with the gang. I want to see Nitz and Jesse get together. Sophomore year is something I need to see. Philip Lord and Christopher Miller are now known for movies such as Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, and The Lego Movie. They also won an Academy Award for 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But just like any other success story, they had to begin the journey somewhere. Kinda like our last story, Phil and Christopher found their passion at a young age. They both grew up making cartoons, short films, and pretty much anything to do with animation. When they hit their late teens, their paths would align at Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. The two had separate comics that were published in the school newspaper. They admired each other's skill sets and would become good friends, and eventually creative partners. During their time in college, Phil and Chris came up with an idea for a cartoon, and it was originally named Clone High School USA. They pitched it to the Fox network, who took one look at it and decided to pass on the show. Then along came MTV, who at the time was going through a transitional phase. You see, in the early 2000s, there was a shift in interest. People were watching less music videos. Ratings were climbing in the reality TV genre, and the latest craze? Cartoons for adults.
Yes!
That was cool.
Having faith, MTV would go on to purchase the rights to Clone High. They also hired Bill Lawrence and threw him into the mix. He had a reputation from working on shows like Boy Meets World, Spin City, and Scrubs. Phil, Chris, and Bill would hit the writer's room for weeks until we ended up with
Way back in the 1980s, secret government employees dug up famous guys and ladies.
Clone High. The series debuted on November 2nd, 2002. It ran for a single season consisting of 13 episodes. So, welcome to Exclamation Point USA, the fictional city in which the school resides. The evil government and military are working in cahoots on this secret experiment. Together, they call themselves the Board of Shadowy Figures. Poking fun at themselves, but what a stupid name. So, the board dug up the remains of famous historical figures and cloned them. Prepare to see teenage duplicates of people like JFK, Abraham Lincoln, Joan of Arc, Cleopatra, and Gandhi. Oh boy, Gandhi. I don't even know what to say about Gandhi.
I got $1 that says you got an addiction to friction. Hey, check out this extra flappy skin on my elbow. What is that? Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say
Say
what?
Gandhi!
People f***ing hated Gandhi. No, not the real Gandhi. This Gandhi. They hated him. But we'll touch on that a bit later. So, the evil government raised these teens with plans to use their strengths and abilities in the military. Pretty much a plan to obtain global dominance or something of the sort. The principal that was hired for the job was this guy over here, Mr. Scudworth. He has strict orders from the board, but plans to go behind their back and use the clones for his own master plan. And this trash can on wheels over here, this is his assistant, Mr. Butlertron. This series features episodes that are purposely cheesy and cliched because it's basically a parody. A parody of those corny teen soap drama sitcoms like Dawson's Creek and Beverly Hills 90210. You know what I mean. The shows with the hunky teens and the hot babes that date each other in every possible combination, the lame, sad music being played in emotional scenes, the oohs from the audience every time people kiss, and the anti-drug campaigns.
Dumb.
Stupid.
Crazy.
Don't do drugs. There's no hope with dope.
From the premiere to the finale, Clone High pokes fun at the absurd nature of the popular genre. Now, the season kicks off with a party going down at JFK's house. Honest Abe plans to make a move on his crush, Cleopatra, but JFK is hating because he likes her too. So he tells Abe and Gandhi the only way they can get in is if they supply the alcohol. Unfortunately, they couldn't get someone of legal age to buy them drinks, so they fake it and bring non-alcoholic beer. All the while, Joan of Arc wants to be more than just friends and is trying to win the heart of Abe, establishing nice and early an interesting little love triangle between the three.
Joan, have you ever liked someone so much you're afraid you're gonna blurt out something stupid?
I have a rash on my back.
After Cleopatra's prerequisites don't allow her to run for school president, she convinces JFK to do it. Noticing Cleo's infatuation with leaders, Abe decides he wants to run against JFK. Now, let's just pause for a moment to take in the fact we have a genetically cloned 16th US president running against a genetically cloned 35th US president. This cartoon's insane. It's fucked up, honestly. The presidential campaign just turns into one big popularity contest, complete with deceit and sabotage.
Abraham Lincoln, Honest Abe, or so he'd have you believe. He'd also like you to believe he's not a baby eater, but he's never gone on record saying he isn't.
I can't wait to eat this. Baby?
Not voting for Abe.
It just makes sense.
In episode 3, Cleo breaks up with JFK, and Gandhi is diagnosed with ADD. Oh boy, Gandhi. I don't even know. Then there's a film festival at the school, and a bunch of students are making their own wacky movies. But the main and only relevant one is Joan of Arc's movie, which is basically a love letter confessing her feelings for Abe. In episode 5, the students need to study for the upcoming aptitude test. Cleo takes advantage of poor honest Abe, who would do anything for her, and has him running a bunch of errands. The love triangle intenses as Joan tries to intervene. Meanwhile, Gandhi decides he doesn't want to do the test and he becomes a trucker.
And today, I've made a life-changing decision based on very poor information. I'm going to be a trucker.
I'm going to hang myself.
Oh boy, Gandhi. I don't. A bit later in the season, Abe and Cleo finally become a couple, but there's a little friction as Cleo is picked to be on a spring break dance show and Abe isn't too thrilled about it. Just want to add here, a lot of the Clone High B-plots or side stories are completely irrelevant. For example, in this episode, Principal Scudworth has a rivalry with a skunk, a la Looney Tunes.
That's me, bitch!
Not a complaint or anything like that, as the side stories are still amusing, but just thought I'd point that out. Then, Joan of Arc's house burns down, and for plot thickening purposes, she's forced to move in with Cleo, which makes things sticky for Abe, who loves both women.
Now, I love you both. One in a completely platonic way, the other with a fiery passion that most people know but once in a lifetime.
In episode 9, Gandhi gets high from smoking raisins. Oh boy, Gandhi. Episode 10 is one of my favorites as it does a perfect job of parodying an emotionally cheesy teen drama episode. So a new character named Ponce de Leon is introduced as JFK's long-lost best friend. A few minutes into the episode, he suffers a very sad, tragic, and untimely death.
What the? Ow! Candy wrapper cut! Ugh. Ugh. Cranberry apple!
Now, Cleo, who still has slight feelings for her ex-boyfriend JFK, tries to comfort him as he is visibly destroyed from losing his best friend. This understandably leaves Abe pissed off because she neglects their relationship to tend to her ex. Skating right past the cliche holiday episode where Joan fights against commercialism, we land at episode 12, part 1 of the season finale. The clones are preparing for prom. Abe and Cleo, being in a relationship, plan to go together. Gandhi and Joan can't land dates and feel they aren't the best they can be. They go through a series of makeovers in an attempt to land perfect prom dates.
Joan, are you ready to be blown away?
Then it's the big moment. The prom is right around the corner and Abe is starting to fall for Joan of Arc. He then has to make a crucial decision on who to make his prom queen. Being uncertain, he even goes to his parents for some advice.
They're not dating Cleo friggin' Patra. Have you seen that girl's ass? It's built like the space shuttle. Ooh, this could be your only chance to drown the slippery otter.
And this series comes to a freezing halt when the board of shadowy figures shows up and attempts to take the clones away. That's all we get, unfortunately. The series was left as a cliffhanger. We never learned the fates of Abe, Joan, Cleo, and JFK. Who ends up with who? Are the clones successfully abducted? What happens in sophomore year? Clone High doesn't take itself as serious as Undergrads does, but it does an amazing job at what it does attempt to do. It's a wacky parody of a then oversaturated genre, with plenty of jokes and visual gags. The animation style is purposely bare, and it resembles a blend of Dexter's Lab meets Total Drama Island. The writers really show their creative presence as the direction is top-notch. I say this because even through all the silliness you witness, it really somehow makes you care about the characters and their relationships by the end of the season. It also has great alternative rock ambiance, similar to Undergrads.
I never had a mom, okay? Joan, I didn't know.
I didn't know.
Clone High actually aired in Canada first on the Teletoon network, kinda like a test run, let's call it. Once all went well in the small market, it then aired on MTV for all of America to see. After it grew in popularity, the show would receive endless criticism about this character right here. Oh boy, Gandhi. Yo, people really hated this guy. A lot of Indians were outraged that they took a revolutionary and dumbed him down to this.
Joan, I haven't gotten a single high five since I've been in here. Could you give me a few under the table? Everyone else is getting them.
Due to this, the show was getting review bombed all over the place. In India, it got so bad that about 150 people, including government workers, protested in the form of a hunger strike. That is fucking crazy. The impact of this show, for people to say, yo, I'm not eating until this cartoon is off the airwaves. Then the country went on to threaten to revoke MTV's license to broadcast in India. In a meeting, the show creators told MTV execs, I guess any publicity is good publicity. They responded, oh no, we're taking it off the air and scrubbing its existence from our company. And yeah, it was clear what needed to be done. Controversy, bad ratings, international outrage, just like that, yanked from the network and fell by the wayside. Conversation about the show would remain mostly silent for the next few years. Due to the rise in popularity of online forums and file exchange practices, the show would develop a large cult following. This show is easily more popular than Undergrads and has millions of fans waiting for a season 2. Luckily, back in 2020, a series revival was announced and slated to drop sometime in 2023. All of the creators and most original writers would be coming back for 2 additional seasons. Now, I'll be completely honest. Back in January 2023, an episode leaked and I had to take a look at it. And it was different. It was pretty bad in my opinion. So I purposely went dark. I stopped reading news on it, stopped following it, didn't check any reviews. To be honest, I'm not even sure if it came out. That's how disinterested I got with it. So to any of you out there with HBO Max, let me know if it's out. Let me know if it's any good. I personally didn't want my lasting impression on this show to be ruined. And if it's anything like that leaked episode I seen, damn, what a shame. The following is scheduled to be a 5-round lightweight bout based on the following criteria. Theme song, characters, best episode, overall impact, and replay value. Let's have a good, clean fight. Time to clash. Theme song. The Click. The theme song was performed by legendary rock band Good Charlotte. The song can also be found as a bonus track on their debut album from the year 2000. Clone High. The theme song was written and performed by the band Abandoned Pools.
That's why don't
Characters. So Nitz is damn near perfect when it comes to a main character. He's an everyman and he's super relatable. Bonus points for his best friend Cal and every one of the ladies he's hooked up with.
I'm Cal. I wish that I meet as many nice ladies next week as I did this week. Huh?
In many ways, Abe resembles Nitz, a relatable, laid-back, honest guy just trying to make it through school. Many bonus points for JFK, who is probably the star of the whole damn series, as he has many memorable moments and quotes.
Hey, let's all go swimming in my pool. And by pool, I mean bathtub. And by swimming, I mean sex.
Being a recluse, Gimpy is shown the least throughout the series. But when he is on screen, he serves as the nerdy comic relief.
Your joystick must be harnessed as an instrument of digital devastation. You must master your joystick as a fisherman masters bait.
And that maniacal laugh comes from Rocco, the insecure, manly man who tries to overcompensate.
Think we could try this without the shouting?
No way, Wazee! Working out is all mental!
More points in order for Joan of Arc and Cleopatra, who make you care about their love triangle with Abe. Principal Scudworth is a great source for comedic relief. And who could forget about Gandhi? Oh boy, Gandhi.
And there's only one solution for the oscillating serrated edge. Coal power! Get out of my head! You get out of my head!
Best episode. Episode 3, Virgins. So it starts off with Doug, aka the Dougler, hosting a safe sex meeting. Jessie says she can tell Dougler is a virgin just by looking at him. Now Nitz is paranoid and like, holy shit, can women really tell which guys are virgins? We then see Kimmy working her part-time job at the health center as a safe sex advocate. Nitz happens to walk by as Kimmy is ordering thousands of condoms. So naturally, he believes they're for her personal use and that she's a whore. Being so disgusted, he decides to give his life to God. Later, Nitz finds out the truth about Kimmy and the health center. She's even so kind as to show him the proper way to put on a condom. His perverted mind gets the best of him and he faints. He then meets up with his boys and tells them what Kimmy did to the banana. They all agree that must mean she wants Nitz to tap that.
It's true. She sat right here and showed me how to properly put on a condom. Where's the banana?
I ate it.
There was a condom on it.
After finding a book on how to seduce women, Nitz gains the skills to hook up with Kimmy. He takes off his pants right there in the health center and Kimmy laughs. Because he was so believable, she hires him to be an actor in an upcoming date rape seminar. The B-plot in this episode is basically Rocco trying to make his ex-girlfriend jealous.
I know it's prom and all, but I'm breaking up with you so I can get laid by tons of chicks when I go to college.
Episode 9, Raising the Stakes. The school gets a visit from anti-drug enthusiast Larry Hardcore.
Weed, grass, ganja, reefer, marijuana, Mary Jane. I did it all. I even smoked pot once.
He goes on to say he would have smoked anything, even raisins, if he found out he could get high off of them. The brilliant students at Clone High decided to take it upon themselves to see if the theory is correct. Everybody starts smoking raisins and getting high. They smoke so much that they all turn into hippies. Now, Gandhi, he hit the raisins a bit too hard and has a bad trip. He meets a creature who is half donkey, half hummingbird, and goes on a wild self-exploration adventure. Meanwhile, Joan of Arc tries to get everyone off the drugs and back to sobriety. Now, this episode doesn't advance the storyline whatsoever, but the way they capture the cheesiness in high school musicals is done to perfection. It tells a mediocre yet entertaining story while tying it all together with catchy little rock songs. The music in this episode is great. Overall impact. Undergrads unfortunately were set up for failure in the United States, but over here in Canada, it was incredibly popular. Bonus points for the movie that's in the works. Clone High suffered from a series-ending controversy, but nonetheless, over the years, it has developed a huge fan base. Bonus points in order for the potential seasons 2 and 3. Replay value. Undergrads is a super down-to-earth, relatable, comical ride through freshman year. Some really good episodes and some mediocre filler episodes. Even years after release and knowing what happens in the series, I still found myself catching jokes and visual gags I missed previously. Clone High is perfect at what it sets out to do. It parodies a genre whilst at the same time delivering an intriguing story between the characters. It has lots of highs and a few lows. Even though I know the outcome, the jokes and independent B-plots make the replay worthwhile. When I tell you this is the closest clash I've ever done, I mean it. Both of these shows are solid 8 out of 10s in my books. But since the gun is to my head, I'm gonna go with the show that had slightly better character arcs in my opinion. So today's winner is Undergrads. I know I'm probably gonna get killed for that one in the comments, man. I know how much you guys love Clone High, but damn it, I'm going with Undergrads, man. I'm going with Undergrads. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree with me, if you disagree. Did I get it right, or am I out of bounds here? Let me know, man. While you're at it, please do me a huge favor. It helps a lot. If you click that thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified every time I drop a video. If you're still here watching this video, man, I appreciate you so much, and you are my people. Once again, my name is Ryan Banks, aka The Doctor, reminding you guys to do what you love. Until next time, gimme my music. I move in the nighttime, shit, everything I do in the nighttime. Make 1 turn 2 in the nighttime. Zoom from that bright light, move by my right side. Crew in the spot and it's like 2 o'clock. Wrist never been in cuffs, evident.